Hi, David again, and I wanted to do this video since I've done others on the magic garments of the Mormons. It seems to have come to some kind of conclusion, at least in my videos, that the Mormon garment is not a physical protection. Even the Mormons who have rudely written to me have conceded that it is not a physical protection. It's not fireproof, as one of the Mormons wrote to me. It is not standard issue to all fire departments and to the military that bullets bounce off of it. So anyway, I'm going to kind of leave that subject of the physical protection of garments. Even the Mormons now, at least the ones that are looking at my video, are going, the old boy's right. Yeah, they're not a physical protection. Now, where the Mormons will jump to immediately is it a spiritual protection? And with my psychological background, I'm going to give the Mormons a little bit of slack on this. Signs, tokens, and symbols, certain types of dress. The Jews have a certain dress, and the Masons in their temples have a certain type of dress, and certainly they have rings, Mason rings, and there are several cultures, shaving your head bald, the Moonies and Jim Jones and some of the other closed cult communities, very definitely use physical objects to differentiate and to remind them that they're under obligation to the organization. So there's some psychological basis in human psychology that, yes, if you wear certain hats like the Quakers and dark clothes, Mennonites and others, beards, that is a sign of you belonging to a certain religion or a certain group of people. Now, that being said, that's about as much slack as I'm going to give the Mormons on spiritual protection. I believe very strongly that there are some Mormons that their garments are a reminder of the covenants, promises they made in the temple, and they cause a certain amount of anxiety, fear, and guilt if they look at their garments and they're not living up to the requirements of wearing garments. I'm going to give the Mormons that slack, that there is some. I'm sorry, there are some. Be that as it may, I'm going to go to the other side of the coin, and my friend from New Zealand this morning, I hope he doesn't watch any more of my videos because his comments are kind of rude and crude, and I'm sure he's a Mormon too. But be that as it may, let's take a look at the common sense of are the garments really protecting the Mormons from spiritual temptations and guarding them against Satan and supposedly the will of Satan of smoking and drinking and having illicit sex and having light-mindedness and loud laughter. I don't know if my laughter is loud, but that's one of the things in the temple you promise. And you promise to give everything you have under the law of consecration to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for the upbuilding of the kingdom, and anything you get in the future belongs to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And of course, you promise your mate that you'll be true to them. I think that's a very reasonable covenant there. The rest of them, loud laughter and light-mindedness and consecration. And the handshakes that are going to supposedly, according to Brigham Young, get you into the celestial kingdom as you pass the angels. They're going to ask you those handshakes, and if you believe that, that's fine. I don't, and that's fine too. There are several people, prominent people, and others, that the garment didn't protect them. It's about as safe as the missionaries that have died on their missions. There's a greater number of spiritual deaths than there are physical deaths with the Mormon Church. Let me give you an example that they quote between 14 and 15 million people in their organization. Well, that's a lie. That's a total lie. And if you're a Mormon, believe it. I don't care. But the rest of us in the world know there's right about 4 million active Mormons. And we all know when you go to your wards and your stakes, I've been in the meetings. I've been on the elders quorum presidency and councils that were trying to reactivate. 70% of every ward is inactive in the Mormon Church. Now they hold their numbers as members, but 70% of the people that are supposed to be there on sacrament meeting day, they're not there. And most of them haven't been there for years and years and years. But the Mormons continue to count them as members of the Mormon Church. So you've got about 4 million that are real Mormons. And out of that, you've still got about anywhere from 50 to 70% that are inactive. You've got about maybe 10%, maybe more, maybe 15% that actually pay tithing and have a temple recommend. So there's not a lot of activities in the temple. I worked in Los Angeles temple, and we had seating, I forget, 50, 70. And if we could get 3 to a session, that was good on a Thursday. We had to sneak in as temple veil workers and put our temple clothes on and sneak in the side door to do the true order of prayer. There wasn't enough people to make a circle. So only reporting what I've seen and what I've heard, not anything I've read on the evil internet. I'm just telling you that the activity rate in the Mormon Church is falling off more and more and more. They're having trouble holding on to their young people, and their old people are dying. Now, another thing that the Mormon Church does to inflate how many people are there is when a child is born years ago in the Mormon Church, they were carried as a child of record. They were not a member of the church until they were baptized into membership. Well, with the falling numbers of the missionaries and the falling number of converts, the church decided that every baby now is a member. So you've got millions of babies that are counted as members of the Mormon Church who don't know, can't even say the word Mormon. But between the inactives and the babies now being counted, the church holds those numbers up. Now let me tell you another way that they hold those numbers up. If they can't find you, like maybe me right now, they can't find me. They will they won't take me. Well, they will take me when you resign from the Mormon Church, when you're excommunicated. They continue to carry your name in that 14 million. When they can't find you, what they do is they say, well, this soul is lost, and we're going to carry them on our rolls until they're 135 years old. In other words, the average life expectancy of 70 to 80 years old, the Mormons go, no, these are lost souls, and they're going to live an extra 40 years. Well, that inflates statistically how many people are still in the church. There's a great number that are just plain dead-ass dead, but they're members of the Mormon Church. Well, be that as it may, let's take a look at are the garments failing spiritually? Well, when you add up all of those people, and many of us had been to the temple, the garments didn't stop us from resigning. And those that got excommunicated, obviously the garment didn't stop them from being evil, wicked people, as the Mormons would say that they are, behavior unbecoming, which is a new area of excommunication, because they couldn't nail you on, apostasy and adultery. They just can look at you and go, you're unbecoming, your hair, your clothes, your speech, you're out of here. But they hold you as a member of the 14 million. Well, we know statistically, and of course the church doesn't publish any of this. The only people you're ever going to hear this from are those of us who have done research and talk with stake clerks and ward clerks that have left the church, and bishops, and the heads of seminary and stake presidents and temple presidents. I think the temple president of Oklahoma said, you know what, I'm out of here. This doesn't make any sense to me either. We know that there's about 100,000 people that resign from the Mormon church, and the Mormon church wouldn't let anyone resign 10 or 15 years ago. They said, we've got you and we're going to keep you. Well, the Supreme Court said, no, you're not. See, federal government controls the Mormons. State government doesn't even exist in Utah. And so now when you resign from the Mormon church, you just can put two sentences in there. I, David Smith, decided I resign from the Mormon church, period, and you send it to Greg Dodge. You can email it now. There's so many of them. Greg Dodge was inundated with paperwork, so now he has them on his computer, and he sends you out a letter. Says your name has been removed, and you've lost your baptism, and you've lost your sealings, and you've lost, and then they put in a little folder. It's a nice little folder that says, we want you back. Well, you never left. Their rolls are still carrying you as a member. So when you add up how many are inactive, at least 70%, and how many actually have temple recommends and live up to paying their tithing and living the law of consecration, and when you add in how many people are being excommunicated, or people like me that just plain resign, that I don't want my name on the things that this church does, you're looking at 100,000 a year there. And in 10 years, that's a million people. So are the garments working temporally, physically? No. Are the garments working spiritually? Hell no. God, there's more dead souls that have left the Mormon church wearing garments than people who actually get run over on their missions, which is tragic and sad. Both are tragic and sad to the Mormons. But if you're one of the ones that wears the garments, you think they're fire retardant, and if you go into a ghetto area and they shoot you, it's not going to go through the garment, and you think it's a physical and a spiritual protection, and your sons and daughters become pregnant and they, get divorced and whatever, you're going to have to take a look at how many people are not protected spiritually from the Mormon garments. So the whole thing is a fake, it's a fraud, and if you want to believe it, my gosh, I've always said on every video, stay, pay your money, build that damn mall, be happy. Quit looking at my videos. 40% of my hits are in Utah, Mormons, and probably 90% of my comments are from Mormons that I wish you die. You're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid, you don't have any education. I have almost 2 master's degrees, but they say I have no education. I don't do my research. I've been in 50 years. Most of them accuse me of lying, cheating, and stealing, that I really wasn't a Mormon. I'm just making this up. But how do I know the second sign of the Melchizedek priesthood, the patriarchal grip, or sure sign of the nail? I've worked in the temple. I've been in the church for 50 years. I'm not excommunicated. I just wrote a letter that says I'm out of here, and so are my kids. This, Joseph Smith, I can't even say his name without laughing. Angels chasing him with flaming swords. I don't know how a sword flames in outer space where there's no air, but a flaming sword saying, please marry 14-year-olds. I've been looking for that angel ever since I was 12 years old. He's never come to my house. And the gold plates, a treasure hunter finds gold plates, but they disappeared to test me to see if I will believe Joseph Smith. Well, you know what? I don't believe Joseph Smith. And I think the garments, if they're good for you, good grief, wear them. But the truth is, physically and spiritually, they're worthless. Thanks.